Thanks again for getting here on time. And I saw a couple of you coming in a little bit early, so I appreciate that as well. My name is Evan Bourgeot. I'm going to be hosting today's meeting on NCD. I am the Director of Sales for Ancillary Products here at Pinnacle Financial Services, and I really appreciate you guys spending some of your Friday afternoon here with me. Couple housekeepings before we get started. First off, don't worry about cameras. We're not going to do any cameras in the meeting today, so you don't have to worry about that. I do have everybody on mute as well. This is just to make sure the flow of the presentation just stays on pace. I do have in the little toggle like window that came up with there should be a little questions box. If you have questions throughout the presentation, don't hesitate to throw them in there. I'll be looking over those periodically and try and answer them as they come in so that we can handle any questions that come through. Other than that, webinar is going to be recorded today and everybody will get a copy of it. So for any reason, if you do have to leave early, maybe you just get tired of my voice or something today, that's okay. You'll get a copy of that sent out to you. Final thing before we get started, if you look at also in the little box where the questions are, there should be a handouts option. I did include a couple of the handouts for the products that we're going to be going over today on the dental side and the vision. So at some point, I would definitely download those and that way you have a copy of them. But other than that, let's get started today. So yeah, today, of course, we're talking about NCD or National Care Dental. First thing I want to do is I just want to go over a little bit of overview about who NCD is real quick, and then we'll jump into more of their product lines and what they have available. We'll go into a little bit about their networks and how some of that works. We'll go over commissions, and then finally I'm going to spend a little bit of time on their actual enrollment platform and really show you how easy it is to do an enrollment. So let's get started with NCD first. So first thing to know about NCD is they have innovative products. They do things that I haven't seen with any other carrier out there. And I'll kind of explain a little bit that here shortly, but their whole mindset is don't just do the status quo. Don't do what everybody else is doing something a little bit different. So it's really exciting. I love talking about NCD. Couple things. First off, member care. If you sign up your clients with NCD, you can be certain that they're going to get the best care possible. First off, clients who call in, there's a 15-second answer time. That is their standard. So there's no long hold times. There's no waiting and waiting and waiting. Within 15 seconds, they're going to get their call answered. They do over 10,000 welcome calls per month for better retention and just making sure these clients stick around, which means, of course, the longer they're there, the more your commissions keep going, which is obviously great. Finally, they do have a 4.9 average star rating on Google on over 5,800 reviews. There's not a lot of companies that can boast those types of numbers. So again, a lot of great things about NCD. Now, on the agent side, let's talk about that. You're going to get top tier agent support with them. All calls are answered as an agent when you need to, if you have questions, within 30 seconds. Email responses generally within under an hour. So again, they're very quick to get back to you and make sure that, hey, if you do have questions, they want to help. All right, so again, I don't want to spend a ton of time on some of the, I call it the fluff. I really want to spend more time showing you some of the products themselves. So let's kind of jump into their portfolio. Before we do that though, let me just kind of go over who qualifies. So with this, it is guaranteed issue for anybody that you enroll. So there's never any health conditions that'll play a factor. The primary applicant has to be above 18 years or older. Now, dependents can be on the plan. They underage, under 18 can be on the plan as well. Just the primary individual has to be 18. And then there is no upper age limit. So any age, doesn't matter if they're 90 years old, 100 years old, they can all be on this plan. Next, as far as it's the MetLife PDP Plus network, all that really means that if you do Medicare, you're probably thinking PDP, that means prescription drug plan. No, it does not. It's a different meaning. Don't worry about it. Biggest thing to know is with the MetLife network is there's over 4,000 access points. So if you've had trouble in the past finding doctors who are in network for your dental plans, Getting this one is going to be a lot easier because you have a lot of different options there. And it's all part of that MetLife network, which is massive. Other than that, every plan that you sell, it comes on the bottom of the screen. You'll see here the National Wellness and Fitness Association is just going to add a lot of extra perks in addition to, of course, everything that the dental plan already provides. Things like roadside assistance, telemedicine, hearing aid discounts, a lot of some of those extra things that, you may not be huge selling points, but definitely can add a cherry on top for you. All right, so for this, I want to go over, take a quick screenshot of this if you like. Make sure the states that you sell in, they have products. You'll see pretty much the only one with nothing available is Washington. And then you'll have like your Alaska, Montana, South Dakota, Maine, Vermont, that really only the vision products available. And then New Hampshire has their very basic dental in the vision. And then pretty much the rest of the states have almost everything possible. So again, very, very large footprint in the United States, which is awesome. Cool. So when it comes to those plans, there's 3 different suites that you're going to see. You're going to have your core plans on the left, your elite plans in the middle, and your bright plans to the right. In your head, you're probably thinking, wow, there's 8 different plans. That's so much. How am I going to know where to go with this, right? An easier way to think about this is with the like elite plans, for instance, all the benefits are generally going to be the exact same. The only difference is how much the annual maximum is. So whether it's 1,500, 3,000, or 5,000, that's really the only difference, and all the benefits stay the same. Obviously, that's designed to make it more customizable. Hey, does my client need a ton of dental work, or do they not need very much, right? If they need a bunch, then hey, I'm going to put them on a higher tier plan. If they're just looking for something basic that covers preventative and they want to be covered for major care just in case, then maybe you go with the lower tier plan, right? So again, don't get overwhelmed by the fact that there's 8 plans. Just know that they're very, very similar. So let's jump into starting off with the core. Now, when I talk about the core plans, there's value, essentials, and complete here. Now, the first thing I'm going to tell you is the value and essentials, you're probably not going to sell a lot of, and I'm going to show you why in just a minute, but I really want to focus on this complete plan on the right here. You'll see the annual max for this plan is $10,000. Again, this is one of those things that really sets NCD apart, is because you're going to see every other carrier that you might have, they might go up to 5,000. But I have never seen another carrier go all the way up to 10,000. So that's really something that sets them apart and really just, I don't know, gives them the edge if, again, somebody needs a lot of work. Also, with this complete plan, it does cover implants in it as well. And it's going to cover up to $3,000, or should pay out $3,000 towards implants every single year. Again, this is another big selling point for them. A lot of other carriers might cover implants, but they might only cover $2,000 to $3,000 for the lifetime of the plan. This one will do $3,000 every single year. So let somebody, because we all know implants are expensive, it can let them every single year maybe get one more implant done and get a lot of help with that. Now, one thing I do want to draw attention to is on the major services. It starts at 10% year 1 for what it's going to cover, and then it slowly ramps up. Same with your basic services, it ramps up over time. Now you might be thinking 10% is not a lot of coverage, and that leaves the customer with a lot of extra money that they're on the hook for. But I'm going to show you why that's not as big of a deal as you might think in a few slides, because there's actually extra discounts they get just by staying in network. And again, I'll explain that in a little bit more detail here shortly. You'll see on the bottom here with the plans, premiums start at, for the value, $35, for the essentials, $59, and for the complete, it's $78, right? Now, let's move on to the elite plans, and I'm going to show you why you're probably not going to do the value or essentials. So with the elite plan, these ones are called the Elite 1500, Elite 3000, and Elite 5000, right? The number is just indicative, shows, hey, this is how much the annual max is, right? So with this plan, you'll see this Elite plan right here, the Elite 3000, this starting premium is $59, right? So if I go back to this last plan, the Essentials, This only goes up to $2,000 and it's $59 as well, right? So why would I sell something with a lower annual max if I can just do this elite plan for $3,000 for the same rate, right? So for that reason, again, you're just gonna almost get rid of the essentials. Now, there might be a time, again, as you're going through this that you might, so I'm not gonna say you'll never sell it, but if you had the choice, why not just sell the other plan that has a higher annual max, right? Other things you'll see, I want to kind of go over into the bright plans. The bright plans are really designed for more of somebody who's looking for preventative care and nothing really else. They're not worried about major care all that much. They want to be covered just in case, but they're not super worried. So you'll see with like their major care, there's a 10% year one, and it ramps up to 20% and just stops there. So 20% is the highest it can go. But again, I want to go back now to, or I guess before I go back, I want to show you the rates here. So this does 10,000, this does 1,500 for their annual max. They have a price starting point of $29.34. If I come back here to this value plan, it only does a $750 annual max, and that plan is going to be $35. So if I'm going to sell somebody something that's more on the preventative side, I'm going to be looking more at those bright plans, and I'm not going to focus a ton on this value. Same with this essentials. I'm going to focus on the elite plans. So again, I go over all this to really narrow it down and make it easier for you when you're working with your clients to know, hey, this is the one I can position for this reason, right? So from this set core plan, I'm focusing on the complete plan. From the with the elite ones, really anything from these, if it, for these, whatever they need, all makes sense. And then if they want that really low cost, hey, I'm looking for preventative care and I don't need much else, I'm focusing on the bright plans, right? So that's the kind of the way to think about it. I know there's a lot of different options here, but that is why I included those handouts for you. So you can come in here, you can double check, make sure, hey, I understand how the plans work and I can really see if it makes sense for my client and what makes the most sense, right? So I am going to just check the questions. Does anybody have any questions right now? Feel free to go ahead and throw them in there if you do before I move on. All right, no questions popped up. I think that means I'm doing a good job. I can only hope. All right, so moving along. I already talked about the National Wellness and Fitness, but you can just see these are all the different companies that are part of it. Not every single benefit is going to be coming in every single plan, but definitely familiarize yourself because that could be the thing that really pushes your client over the edge and says, I need that. Okay, so what I want to talk about now is a little bit about their network and those extra discounts that somebody can get. All right, so again, I've already talked about it. There's over 400,000 access points for this. There's a really simple provider lookup tool, which when I get to the part where I'm going over the application and the enrollment process in a bit, I'll show you that tool as well. But then this next point here is this highly negotiated rate. So what's going to happen is if I go into a dentist and I get a service done and I don't have any insurance, let's say I'm going to pay $1,000 for something. Well, if I go to an in-network facility with this, this is already, just because it's a negotiated rate with that in-network, it's going to knock 35 to 50% off of that rate right off the bat. So again, if I'm at 1,000, I might get that lowered $500 before the insurance even kicks in with that 10%. So that's a really, really big selling point. And of course, this is very crucial that if you sell this plan, you want to make sure your clients are in network with their dentist so that they get those extra discounts. Okay, so what I want to do now is, and you feel free to read the rest of the page, I would really like to focus on the main points here that really can stick in. So I want to kind of give you an example of what I'm talking about with that with the negotiated rate here. So we're going to assume this is a client who's on year 2 coverage of a complete plan. So that's been kicked up. Now they're getting a 50% off of the price, right? So if I need to get a crown, and let's say the crown costs $1,000. Well, again, just because I went in network, the negotiated rate knocks off $500. From there, now the plan will pay 50%, so it pays $250. So now the client's only paying $250 out of their pocket, right? On the reverse side, if I'm going out of network, that crown's still going to cost $1,000. There's no negotiated rate here, so no $500 off. The plan still pays the 250 because this 250 is based off of a maximum allowable charge with this service, right? So it's paying based off of that. So in this situation, because they don't get $500 off, it still pays 250. The client's on the hook for $750, right? So the example is pretty clear. You really want to make sure that your clients are staying in network. It just makes a lot more sense for them and it's a lot more beneficial. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the vision side of it. So with the vision, NCD partners with VSP. You've probably heard of them. That shouldn't be a name that's too unfamiliar with it. With this vision plan, it's very black and white. It's very much what you see is what you get, right? So there's these fees. This is the cost monthly. So if I'm a member, it's 22. If a member and spouse, 37. Member and child, 46. In a family, it's 51. These rates will never change based off of the location of your client. Those are set rates. Same with the benefits. They're set benefits. They're just gonna, if they buy this plan, they get these ones, they always get these ones, right? So just to kind of draw your eyes to what you really want to see, you'll see for the well vision exam, so this is where they get their eyes checked and everything, it's going to be a $20 copay, and they can do that once every 12 months. So once a year, they can get their eyes checked for the exam. Then for prescription glasses, there's a $25 copay for the glasses, but that's going to include the frames and the lenses, right? So you'll see in frames, they can, it's up to $220 for brand names, or just if it's non-brand name, up to $200 for that. And that can be done once every 2 years, okay? Lenses, those are included. It's gonna be single, bifocal, or trifocal, or the impact-resistant lenses for dependent children. That's all included. So they pay $25 and they'll get all of the benefits right there. There are, of course, the lens enhancements. So if somebody wants anti-glare, progressive lenses, tinted lenses, there's a corresponding co-pays. It's just going to be, you know, a reduced amount from what they might normally pay right here. Okay. Finally, at the bottom, you'll see contacts. They can get contact lenses in place of glasses, and it does do a $150 allowance for contacts and contact lens exams. Okay, and that's going to be, of course, a zero copay, and that's every 12 months. So generally, what I would encourage my clients to do is get your exam every year. 1 year, you can get new glasses and new frames and everything, since that's every 12 months or 24 months. And then since you're having to wait 12 months or 24 months so you can do it, in the meantime, you can come here and get glasses or contact lenses. Sorry, I'm all over the place. So pretty much 1 year, you're going to get your frames. The next year, you can get contact lenses. The next year, you can get frames. The next year, you can get contact lenses, and just kind of go forward like that. So it does let somebody every single year at least take advantage of the benefits. But again, if they break their glasses or some type of issue and they want to get new frames, if it's within that 24 months, they would have to wait. All right, cool. Moving along, let's talk about commissions real quick. Good thing to know, and what's really cool about NCD is they do have a level for life commission structure. So what that means is every month, as long as the client keeps the service, they're going to get paid out the same commission for however many years that client has that product. This is different from a lot of other ancillaries, because you'll usually see they may get a really good year one rate, but then once you move on to year 2 and beyond, it becomes a lot less. It becomes a fraction of what it was. With this, it is going to stay at that exact same amount all the time. Now, I don't know what your actual agreement is or what contract levels you may have, but for street level, and I'll just talk about that, for the dental portion, it's going to be a 21% commission. So again, for the lifetime of them having it, you will receive a 21% commission from that. On the vision side, it's a little bit higher. It's going to be 34% of the premium. And then I did see a question just come through, or I saw a hand raised by Helen. Helen, if you want to throw your question in the question box, I'll answer it once I see it pop up in there. But again, so dental, it's going to be a 21% commission. For the vision, it's going to be 34%, right? So definitely really, really good commission structure for these. All right. Other than that, that's really all I had to show on this side of my presentation. Again, now I want to jump a little bit deeper into the actual enrollment platform here. So let me go ahead and pull that up. See, yeah, perfect. We have it up here now. All right, so I want to show you now just how simple this enrollment platform is, okay? So first thing to know is pretty much everybody will have the exact same platform. Your enrollment is just going to be this URL up here that says, enrollment.ncd.com/ and then those 6 digits would be your writing number once you have a writing number with them, okay? So here, it's simple. You'll come in. Oh, and I guess before I even jump into that, what's really cool about this is this personalized URL right here that's yours. You can give this out to your clients as well, and your clients can go in there and enroll themselves. So you don't have to be with them to do this enrollment. So let's say you're doing a lot of marketing and you're advertising on whatever venues that, or however you do it, whatever methods you do it. You just throw this URL there. People can come click on your website. They can go through, put in their zip code, date of birth, and they can do everything themselves. And anything that they do on your website, you get the full commission for it still, right? So it doesn't differentiate if you do it or if they're doing it. Helen, thank you, Helen. I didn't even realize I said that. So the 21% commission that I was talking about for dental is of their premium. Sorry, Helen, I definitely forgot to say that. So yeah, 21% of whatever their premium is what you'd be making on a monthly basis. Cool, so let's jump into this. All right, so I am in Colorado, so I am just going to use a Colorado-based zip code here. Now, pricing and rates for the plans, they do differ based off of the area someone's in, really the zip code that they're in. Age or anything else will never play a factor. It's only their area based. From here, when I'm looking at coverage, I simply say, what am I looking for? Member only, member and spouse, member and child, family, whatever. For effective date, it always is going to start either the first of the following month or the first of 2 months out. So in this situation, February 1st is the next option, and then March 1st after that. Here, you can select which products you want. One thing you can see is you can pick dental, I can pick vision, or I can pick just dental, or I can pick just vision. So I can do any combo of those. If they're good on dental and they just need vision, I can just do that. So, but it is customizable. I don't need to always combine them. From here, I'll continue on to the plan selection. Now this is going to give me those exact plans I was showing you earlier. You have your core plans right here at the top. You have your elite plans in the middle. And on the bottom, you have your bright plans right here. Now, if you're familiar with using things like Sunfire or some of those other portals, you'll see there's just a little compare option. And this is going to let you compare all these different plans side by side. So if I want to compare this 10,000, the 5,000, and the 3,000, I just select them to compare. I come up here to compare coverage here at the top. And this is going to pull up the different plans side by side. It's going to show me rates and everything, right? Now, looking at these rates, you'll see, hey, this 5,000 plan is 82 a month. The 10,000 plan is 88. I mean, if it were me and I'm talking to my client, I want them to have the best of the best. So why not give them the $10,000 plan so they're covered for everything and then some for $88 a month, right? It's going to show your deductibles. It's going to show your, again, the maximums right here, what the preventative coverage looks like, if there's waiting periods, what is covered in this, right? Goes really in depth with every different point that you're looking at here, and it's going to give you everything there. From here on the bottom too, let's say I want to view a more detailed, I want to see, hey, what are some of the limitations for this plan? I can just come down here and hit this view detailed product overview. And this is going to pull up this second little page here. This is really going to go in depth. How often can I use a certain service? And you'll see, hey, like for implants, this is where I can see for implants, I can get $3,000 per calendar year max, right? And this can be 1 tooth per every 10 years, right? So yeah, you can get all that super in depth. There's also little spots here where you can put your agent name, phone number, and email. So this is a really good thing if you're using this for marketing. This is going to be the same as with the documents that I sent or that I included in the handouts. There's little sales sheets that are a little bit less busy than this one. It doesn't have all the limitations, but it does go over the different products. And those also will have a little spot where you can put your name and your phone number and all that. So great tools for marketing and everything. Okay. So again, now these are my plans. You know, I can compare any of these however I want to compare them. Let's say, hey, the $10,000 plan just makes sense. Simple. Just come here, add it to cart. You'll see in the very top, boom, now my cart's there. I can just hit review cart whenever I needed to. Okay. Now on the bottom right, to keep on moving, I'm going to go to my vision plans. You'll see, like I mentioned earlier, it's a very much a cut and dry. So there is nothing to compare. There is no different types of plans. I can either add it to the cart for $22 or I can leave it off, right? That's all it's going to be. I can look at the view details spot. I can also get a benefit summary here, so I can get a look at that thing I was showing you earlier. That way, if I want to, you know, have one of these to leave with my client or send it out, it also has that agent name and email, and again, you can use that for marketing material as well. Okay, right? Again, this one makes sense. I'm just going to add it to cart. Now I'm going to see that there's 2 items in my cart, so I can either hit review cart down here, or on the very top, I can hit review cart up on the top right. Now, while I'm up here, let me show you 2 other things. So I was talking about the dental lookup for like the providers and everything. That's where you're going to see them right up here on the top. So we'll start with the dental providers. I just click right here. This is going to pull up their quick tool. So let's say, again, I'm in Colorado Springs, so I'm just going to put in my zip code. I'm going to search for dentist. And this is going to pull up 1,333 dentists within 25 miles of me, right? Obviously quite a bit. Let's say I wanted to go, hey, you know what? I don't want to drive 25 miles for my dentist. I just want to do 5 miles. I still have 525 miles within 5 miles of me in Colorado Springs, which Colorado Springs is by no means little, but it's not a massive city. We have maybe 800,000, 600,000 people that live here. So again, no shortage of dentists, and you'll be able to find the same thing in most areas that you're at. You'll be able to find which dentist you want. Let's say I want to look for a specific dentist here. I can just type in their name. Let's say I'm looking for a superstar diva like Kelly Clarkson. There she is right there. Boom, Kelly Clarkson's right there. And that is not actually, I don't think the pop star actually does dentist stuff. I think they just have the same name in case you were wondering. But yeah, I can see where she's at, different locations that she's at, and everything right there, right? I also, let's say I'm looking for a new dentist and I need a specific specialty. I can just come here, look at the different specialties of what they'll do. I also have this more filters option. Let's say I want to make sure the dentist I go to and talk to, they are accepting new patients. I can do that. If I'm looking for a certain language, you'll see all the different languages. If I'm looking for somebody that they, you know, speaks Italian or Cantonese or whatever you need, it's all right there. Okay, so really easy, really simple to use. It even gives you a little map here on the right side. So next we'll talk about vision. Vision's not going to be as in depth because there's not just as typically as many vision providers, but I'll come in here, I'll search for it. And it's going to pull all the different facilities and the different doctors, different eye doctors that I want to see here, right? And again, I can also do an advanced search and look by their last name. So let's say I'm looking for a Dr. Brooks. I know he's in here. Just going to submit that, and it's going to show, hey, here's Keith Brooks and Priscilla Brooks. If they obviously, if in either of these two, if the doctor does not show up, then unfortunately that just means they're not going to be in network, right? So they'll only show up if they're in network. So if you see them here, you know that they're good to go. Okay. All right, so let's say, boom, I've looked up their dentist, I've looked up their eye doctor, they're both in network, we're ready to go. Let's go here to review cart. Okay, it's going to show you a quick summary of what you added on here. If that sounds good, I'm going to begin application. I can also send a quote out if I wanted to do that. But yeah, we'll begin the application. It's super simple. You'll just put in some basic information, first name, last name, gender, phone number here. Just gonna put in some random info here, so bear with me. All right, and this is pretty much all of their personal information that you'll need. And if you're looking, you'll see there's no need for a social security number. So that's never something that NCD is gonna be asking for. Just need their name, date of birth, their gender, phone number, email, street address, and that's it. We'll go to continue to review. It's going to give a quick overview once again of everything that all their personal information, as well as which plans we're doing. If I want to change the effective date here, I can always change that here if I needed to. From here, I'm going to go to continue to payment. I do need to either set it up with either their banking account information or a credit card number. So I need one of those two things. So again, I'll put in some dummy information here. If I do their bank account, I can do checking or savings. And then I have the billing date here. The billing date just needs to be before whenever their effective date is. So in this situation, we chose the 1st of February. So I can either have the draft date be the 30th or the 31st, right? Let's say they're like, well, I just can't afford to have anything taken out at this time. You know what? I'm going to come back here. I'm going to change this to March 1st. I'm going to say, you know what? That's not a big deal. Let's move this out, have it start March 1st for you. Now it's going to give me a lot bigger range to when they can set the payment up, and I can set it up to the 13th of February or whenever it is they need it. Okay. From here, continue to agreements. I check this box and I hit submit application, and then I'm done. That's the extent of the enrollment. Very simple, very easy. And again, if you give this to your clients, I can't expect that any of your clients would really have too much trouble going through this entire process themselves. I said it's very, very straightforward and easy. But yeah, start to finish, that's NCD. Again, really, really good products, a lot of really unique things that they do, and definitely something, if you don't have a contract currently, I would highly recommend to get that going. If you have questions and you were kind of curious about, kind of getting involved with us, maybe you don't have a contract currently, or maybe you do have one with us and you just want to add it on. Either way, here's my personal information, my email and my phone number. Feel free, give me a call, send me an email. We'll help you get contracted. Again, if you work with another director currently, let me know, and then I'll send word to them, or just get with them and be like, you know what, saw a webinar in NCD and I want to have that product. Whatever the case, we're here to help you out. But again, that is all that I have. I will hang out here for maybe another minute or so. If you do have any more questions, throw them in the chat. And let me see here. Let me go over a quick. So Helen asked, can you explain how an enrollment will point back to us as the agent? I think what you're meaning is like, how do you get credit and everything for it? Well, because in this URL here, let me just take us back to the beginning, you'll see once you get contracted, your name, your phone number, and your email will be right here. And again, this URL right here that you'll send out, it's going to look like this. And again, these 6 digits will be your personal writing number with NCD. So as long as you give your personalized URL out, anybody who comes in here through your URL, you get 100% credit for it. You have to do nothing else as long as they go through and touch it on your exact URL. Perfect. Awesome, man. Helen says she's got it. Love it. Perfect. Well, yeah, again, I will hang out here for another 30 seconds to a minute or so. If you have any more questions, throw them in. If not, again, I appreciate everybody spending their Friday afternoon with me, and we'll see you in the next webinar.